Hello and welcome to Star Wars Chat. I know I said we'd be doing the anime chart, but guess what? I was lied to again by all my friends except Alex.
Word.
Who's here? Who is with me today? So, today we're going to be discussing Star Wars today, and I'll have to change the goddamn description of this video once again because my friends tell me they're going to be here and then they don't. I told them that they could be more lax with it, but what used to be 2-week notices turned into 1-week notices. What used to be 1-week notices turned into 3-day notices. What used to be 3-day notices turned into 1-minute notices. What used to be 1-minute notices turned into no notices. So, now that that's out of the way at the general, group, we're going to be talking about Star Wars, everyone's favorite galactic thing going on, except unless you like Star Trek. Or like any other Star series, but I highly doubt that since Star Trek and Star Wars are the only one relevant in common media. And if you're like, well, I like blah, 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 fight me. No, I'm kidding. Don't really fight me. I'm a pacifist. I won't fight back, and I'll probably get like a black eye or something. But, yeah, Star Wars. Me and Alex were just talking about stuff before, and it was mainly me just complaining about a girl complaining.
Yes.
Yeah, so we've been talking about Star Wars for the past couple days recently, so it just seems fitting with the new Last Jedi trailer out, and the fact that no one else is in the call and both of us have seen it now.
Yep.
Right.
Also,
we can.
Yeah.
So, you got anything to add at the beginning for the also?
I was at a con last weekend. Because I was at a con, obviously I couldn't make any chat, so we didn't have it last week.
Yeah, and that's when Kira showed up 2 hours late and was like, where's the AnyChat link? And Samantha showed up 2 hours late and likes, where's the AnyChat link? And I was like, it didn't happen because you guys weren't here 2 hours ago.
Rip.
Yeah. I love them both to death, but, I can't. Also, if you notice, I went back to change my profile pictures, but that's just because I was in an RP, to get in the mood, I changed my profile picture to that. Guess what happened? The RP died a week ago.
Rip.
So, yeah. Alright, so, let's see. To go straight in with the Force we were talking about in the argument. Haha, Force jokes. Ha 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 ha. We were talking about what would happen if the 3-episode arc in Star Wars The Clone Wars, which is canon, would have gone slightly differently. So let me explain some backstory for what's going on in this arc. So the Clone Wars have reached an all-new high, and Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka being the newly introduced character that is Anakin's apprentice who leaves 2 years before the start of Revenge of the Sith, are on a mission to meet up with a couple of the commanders of the clone army. Anyways, they see this giant holocron-looking planet, and they're like, oh god, what is that? They get sucked into a different dimension, right? So, in this different dimension, the world changes from day to night depending on which side of the Force is most prevalent. At night, the dark side becomes the strongest, all the things die, fire consumes the land, so on and so forth. When the light side is in control during the day, the Earth changes, not the Earth, but the planet changes so that everything's full of life and bright and vibrant. And this happens every day. And this implication just shows how powerful the Force is there, right? So, Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka get split up eventually, and they meet the siblings and the father. The son being representative of the dark side, the daughter being representative of the light side, and the father being balance. They all receive visions while they're there because the Force is so strong there, and they're all Jedi, and we all know how those visions go. Well, Anakin meets the father, and the father's like, oh my god, you're the chosen one. You should take my place. And Anakin's like, LOL, no. I just want to, go back and fight a war, and the father's like, no, no, you should totally become a celestial being. Now, Anakin's first problem right there was saying no to being a celestial being. However, the father's like, you know what? You're right. You're not the chosen one. Whatever. So he ends up making a test and having his apprentice and his master being kidnapped. Now, Ahsoka and Obi-Wan are not going to fight incarnations of the Force. That's not something that normal Jedi do, right? So they end up getting captured and they're going to be killed. And Anakin has to choose to save one. Anakin chooses to save both by manipulating both sides of the Force at the same time and forcing them down on their knees. And he's like, kneel, and they don't kneel. So he's like, I said kneel. And the amount of force and manipulation he has on this planet is so extreme that he forces incarnations of the Force down on the ground. Right? And the father is like, oh God, you are the chosen one. Be a celestial being right now. Right? And so Anakin goes, no, I can't. I have stuff to get back to. Low key, what he's really saying is, I have a wife, even though I'm not supposed to, and I can't tell my apprentice or my master. So, yeah. Right? That's low key what Anakin was really talking about. So, the father goes, I'm dying. If either of my children escape this planet, the galaxy is rip. Period. Right? And, well, Anakin's like, that's great and all, but I still gotta leave. So Anakin attempts to leave. Darkseid brother interferes, seduces his Padawan into becoming a Darkseid wielder. Anakin beats up his Padawan and ends up trying to fight the Darkseid guy. Anakin, still more experienced than he was, but not as experienced as he is in Revenge of the Sith, was outclassed by the Darkseid wielder because, well, that situation was a downhill battle from there. And the light side sibling comes in and saves them from the Darkseid brother and dies. Darkseid brother freaks out because that's the only person he ever cared about, right? So, anyways, now that the light side is gone, the brother can escape, right? Because even though the father creates balance, he needs the light side there to create the balance. Because he is the Force, as opposed to being the dark side or the light side. Right? So, after this, Anakin just ends up literally killing everyone. The end. Yeah. So, this is a story that takes place during the prequels. And it is canon. And it was canon in the extended universe, too. It is an excellent story that, out of, like, the hundreds of episodes of, like, Clone Wars, which I think, to be exact, is probably, like, 200, I think, I showed Alex those 3 because it's so good, right? And other things that happen is, they actually hire, like, Liam Neeson to voice Qui-Gon for that part. Hype to that, right?
Yep.
And then all the other voice doubles are on point.
Uh-huh.
And then, oh god, the series is just so good. Anyways, what I'm getting at is, people take advantage of the fact that the prequels are not liked. Right? Like, oh, the prequels are horrible, oh, they're horrible, oh, they're horrible, oh, they're horrible, oh, they're horrible. Right? This creates this culture that well, for actually everyone receives, like all the studios receive as, oh, we shouldn't do anything with the prequels. But whenever they don't do anything with the prequels, they get like massive backlash, and they're like, well, what happened? And the fans are like, oh, you didn't put in the prequels, and then the studio's like, but I thought you hate the prequels, and then the fans are like, no, we actually like the prequels, we're just cindery about it. And the studios are like, but you like diss everything that happens, and everything from episode 2 is a meme, and they're like, we like the memes. And the studio does something with the prequels, and then the fan base is like, we hate the prequels. And the studios are like, but you bought the game and the movie, and they're like, we hate the prequels. As they nod their head yes that they like them.
Yeah.
This is sorely evident in TFA, but continue.
Yeah. One of the points we were talking about before the call started is that a lot of the Star Wars lore stuff that's really cool is not original trilogy stuff.
Yes.
Like, it's all either extended universe or the prequels, right? Because, like, yeah, cool stuff happens in the original trilogy, but it's limited by, the original trilogy, which, in terms of movies, maybe, well, almost certainly probably better directed than the prequels, but it's not like Star Wars is perfect. It's fun, right? It's good.
Mm-hmm.
It's entertaining. It's nigh impossible to get perfect media, especially when you have the time something is produced as a constraint.
Yes.
TLDR, when you're trying to sell Star Wars properties, include the prequels.
Yes. This is something that just needs to happen. There's a reason Star Wars Battlefront 2 is liked by so many people. I don't mean that new upcoming game. I mean, like, the old game from, 2005. Because that game is, over a decade old now.
Yeah.
Guess what it did? Include the prequels. It had a campaign through the prequels all the way to through the trilogy. And that campaign was fantastic.
Yes, that was a really good campaign.
I have yet to meet a person who's complained about that campaign. It not only includes a new interesting story about Star Wars, right? It has interesting mechanics that should have reappeared in the game, but are exclusive to that campaign. For example, the you can actually lose matches thing. You have 20 reinforcement, right? For the start of most missions. And when you complete the quest that they give you, you get more. Right? So if you take too long to do something, you get wrecked. I honestly wish that was more of a thing in instant action, but then they'd have to add more settings, and you know how that goes. It's PS2. Yeah. We can't be asking for too much. What they gave us was fantastic as is. I mean, now you can improve on it, but what they
gave us was better than the new Star Wars Battlefront game was.
Yes. Yes, it was. Now, the Star Wars Battlefront 2 that's coming out says they're going to add all eras because they're going to fix their mistake, and they're going to add a campaign. Should they have done such atrocities with the first one? No. No, they should have not. But I think they were trying to ride off of TFA hype, and that didn't work because TFA, while mostly positive, did receive mixed reviews from the fan base.
Mm. Well,
continue.
But didn't the Star Wars Battlefront, the one that came out 2 years ago, wasn't that didn't it sell well?
It did sell well.
Yeah.
And then the fan base got really mad at it. Did you see the reviews postwards?
No, I didn't.
Even Donkey didn't like the game.
Really interesting.
He has a Dunk view, and he trashed it to pieces. Most people complained about the repetitive gameplay, the lack of lasting appeal, and while it has a very high aesthetic value, the game is ultimately just lacking the charm that the other two games had initially. So, Kira said she's coming tonight, but guess who's not in call or in my bed? I'm kidding about the last part. Don't tell her I said that. Kira, so, yeah. Unless she's in call and she's just been silent this whole time. Nope. Okay, I can talk trash still.
I cannot.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm quite upset with Kira. So I get a little coarse. That's just how it's gonna happen. Britannophile also showed up late, 20 minutes ago. She asked to join call, but I haven't added her into call yet because I can't find her name because she uses the most cancerous piece of, like, freaking font on the face of the earth. And I heard, like, a Kira snicker, so that probably means she's here, so I have to stop talking all the garbage I was talking 10 seconds ago.
He's been talking garbage for like 90 seconds straight.
Hey man, my computer's been dead just about all day, so I'm like on my phone.
Do you know what's been dead for me all day? My will to live and to do ArcanusChat. So you know what? We're on the same level here, Kira.
Calm your tits. Holy shit.
Okay, you love me too.
The fact that I'm laughing just shows that I'm messing with you, Kira. Oh my god. I love messing with you because you just get so mad at me, and I can feel the love in the hatred.
But I'm not mad though.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. 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 Uh-huh.
I'm
Uh-huh.
seriously not mad.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah, okay. I love antagonizing Kira, even if she doesn't get mad. So, yeah. Welcome, Kira. We're talking about Star Wars.
Yee. I still need to watch that other movie.
Which other movie? Rogue One? If it's Rogue One, don't do it.
It would happen to be that one.
Just wait.
Rogue One has a bad case of this didn't really need to exist.
Yeah. It felt like it more should have been, like, somewhere in, like, the cartoon, as opposed to a real movie.
Like, I liked Rogue One, right? But there are things about Rogue One I didn't like. Namely, probably the first half of it.
First half is pretty bad, with MC being whiny as crap.
Yeah. But the first
Fine.
half has a bad case of nothing happens, and the characters aren't compelling. And then the second half, stuff happens and it's pretty cool, basically.
And then a bad case of, we can't have these characters existing in the current canon happen.
Mm.
It was like
Like-
filler.
Which
It was like-
ultimately leaves you with a strong taste of this movie didn't really need to exist.
Yeah, my dad said that at the end of the movie, and I'm usually the one who tears into a movie after I see it. So if my dad says something negative about a movie, that's how you know that something was wrong there. Like, we were sitting there, and I wasn't saying anything, and my dad's like, is it me or did that movie not need to exist? And he started me on a whole tangent. But, like, if my dad says something after a movie, that means something is clearly wrong.
Indeed.
Like,
Um,
I will say this: if it gives them, an extra year to work on The Last Jedi, I'm fine with that,
mhm.
because even if you just count it as filler, basically, some fun stuff in there. I'm not mad.
Mhm. Like the Asian guys.
Yes.
Rip everyone else because they had no relevance.
Yep.
Okay, so my one quote, like, from a thematic standpoint, Vader's performance was spectacular. What I call bullcrap that he just did not tear through everyone in that one scene faster. And I'm not going to specify because Kira hasn't seen yet.
Yeah. Vader's in this movie. Spoilers.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like it's a movie about his empire reaching the peak. Oh wait. But there is a scene, I'm not going to specify, where a certain villain talks for significantly too long than anything he's worth.
Mm.
Kira, I hope you like monologues, by the way.
Oh boy.
Because in the final climax scene, there is a monologue. Oh my god. And it's not a Star Warsy thing to monologue.
Yeah.
It really is.
Oh. You can tell that someone else was in charge of this movie, basically. Like,
Ooh.
it's not bad. Like Alex said, it's a good movie. It's just from a character standpoint, it falls flat. Right on its face. Breaks its nose, too. Blood everywhere.
The cinematography in the film is really good. Like, the movie looks really nice.
Yes.
The center shot, really nice. It's flashy, it's colorful. All the action is interesting. Except for, some of the action scenes in the first half of the movie are just like, why am I watching this? I don't care about what's going on right now.
The only thing that was cool was Eye of the Mind, blind monk. Woo,
Yes.
woo, woo. There's a blind guy, and he's awesome.
Uh-huh.
Alrighty.
So, yeah, look forward to the blind guy, Kira, and his buddy.
They're the best part of the film.
Yeah, they are. From a character standpoint, they are. The tier below that would be the robot, and then everyone else is below the robot.
This is true. I agree completely, 100%.
So, yeah.
We're not Vader, though.
Yeah, we're talking about the main cast here. Vader is a side thing here. Vader, like, technically speaking, trumps all of them at the same time from having 2 lines, but, like...
Yeah.
From a main cast standpoint, the top tier is the Asian guys, and the tier below that is robot, and everyone else is below that. You just don't care about the other people. Like, the robot was like, oh, robot, you stop caring after 5 minutes. And you're like, no, the Asian guys, and that's the movie.
Yep. This is true, 100%. One thing that I think the movie does really well is show Star Wars from the perspective of people who don't have bullcrap magic powers.
Yeah.
Alright.
The monk is a monk who, while force sensitive, isn't force capable. Meaning, while he has like the slight precognition and can sense things, he can't just lift stuff.
Yes. Yeah, like he's not sitting there like, deflecting bullets with his laser sword and like force pushing, fighter jets out of the way.
Yeah. So, yeah, we're trying to like not spoil the movie for Kira as much as we can not spoil it without letting some information go.
Yeah. Like,
so,
I think we've done a good job of not talking about any of the plot, just being like,
yeah.
Oh, some cool stuff happens with these characters. This is what this character does.
Yeah.
Most entertaining part of the movie.
Oh, by the way, Blind Guy got his own book because he was so cool.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yep. So, right there, yeah, he was essentially... That is probably one of the most richest things Star Wars Star Wars world building wise that they added. Was like the Asian guys from a character standpoint.
Yep.
So, yeah. I wish Kira had seen it so I can call bullcrap on a certain scene. Oh my god. There's just one scene where I just... Oh, okay, but we have to move on to something Kira has seen. So, Kira, I assume you saw The Force Awakens?
Yes.
Okay. Let's hear your raw and biased opinion before me and Alex taint her wholeheartedly.
Okay.
Rey's knowledge of the Force just randomly appearing is a kind of bullcrap.
Hey! Kira gets brownie points.
That was a major criticism of the film. Walking out of it was I'm just like, Rey is bullcrap.
Yeah.
Like I don't mind the type of character she is, but everything she does is bullcrap. She never fails at a single thing in the film, and she's way more competent than the entire rest of the cast, including like Han Solo and Chewbacca. Like there is a scene in that film where she, after just stepping foot in the Millennium Falcon for like a couple hours, knows more about it than Han Solo.
Hey, you want to know what that's called? A Mary Sue.
Yes.
Absolutely.
You know what I didn't like? Is poor old Finn gets the shaft so hard in that movie, and I'm like, he's not even gay, he doesn't like the shaft. So I'm just questioning why he just gets abused so hard in that movie. Like, yeah, alright, so, first of all, minority as the main character, woo, acceptance, right? But then, like, he gets SJW'd by Rey for the first part of the film. He's like, let's go, grabs her arm, not because he's a man, but because this bomber's coming, and she's like, let go of my hand, and I'm like, ho, if you do, hush, hush. Right? So, like, already first, I didn't like how she was treating Finn, right?
Yep.
Then, Finn does, like, anything and it blows up in his face. Always. Every time. Right? Finn tries to steal a TIE fighter. Guess what happens? It's hooked in. Finn tries to rescue a rebel leader. Lands in quicksand. Finn tries to help Rey. Gets knocked flat on his butt and gets threatened to be killed. Finn attempts to save Rey. Gets attacked by tentacle monsters. Finn is like a character in a hentai, I swear to God. Rip his life. Oh my goodness. Finn is like, I know how this works. Han Solo's like, how? He's like, I'm a janitor. Finn loses all credit. And I'm like, what the crap? Like, just because he's a janitor doesn't mean he doesn't know crap.
Exactly.
Like, poor old Finn. Finn tries to fight Kylo Ren. Gets a hit off Kylo Ren. Ruins his life. Finn gets put into a coma. Just like, I don't know if it's because he's black or because he's a stormtrooper or if it's a mixture of both. It might be a mixture of both. It's what's going on there. Cliches of a stormtrooper, cliches of an quote-unquote African-American man, even though they're in space, right? And they like molded together, and while writing this, all the cliches came to the forefront. Oh, Finn picks up a lightsaber, gets beaten 2 hits by another stormtrooper. It's funny now when you think of how many times Finn gets his butt kicked or things just don't go his way in that movie. Like, the only thing that goes Finn's way is that Poe is alive.
Yes.
That's the only thing that goes his way in the whole movie.
Yes.
That's true.
Also, African American in space. I can't even that title. Oh my god. They're in space. Whew. Whew. Oh my god. And he's like British too, the actor.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, alright. Yeah, sorry. That was like a pent-up racial opinion on that, of me being someone of mixed descent. It's like, oh my god. Whew, poor old Finn. My uncle didn't like the fact that they made him like a coward. Like, I understand why he's a coward, like he has some common sense, and that's why he has some cowardice, but I think they played on it a little too much, but it adds to his character, in my opinion. Alright, so Kira, what's your opinion on Kylo Ren?
Just rage.
Just honest opinion. We're not going to tear you to beds.
Yes.
I thought that he was ill-tempered and kind of like.
So did you mean Anakin? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. We just wanted to hear your opinion because technically speaking here, him and Finn are the best characters that are new in this movie series. And if Finn's not the best, then Kylo Ren's the best. And if Kylo Ren's not the best, then Finn's the best. And there is no argument because Poe has nothing going for him because he's got like 0 character development. He's got like a total of 10 lines in the movie. And Rey is bullcrap. So right off the bat, those 2 are eliminated, meaning that your competition are BB-8, who is a ripoff of R2-D2 without the sass. He's got like 2 sassy scenes in the movie, right? His best part, actually, BB-8's best parts are when he's talking to Finn at the very beginning of the movie. Like, in the ship. That's the most we get of BB-8, whereas R2-D2 is sassy throughout all his movies. Right?
Yes.
So, and that eliminates BB-8. You know what that leaves? Kylo Ren and Finn, right off the bat, even if you don't like either of them. And you can't debate it. So, that's what I wanted to talk about Finn and Kylo Ren. Because I'm like, yeah, even if you don't like Kylo Ren's character, technically speaking, from like drives and what he's capable of, yeah, he's better. Also, Kylo Ren had just a horrible weekend, just like Finn, because anytime Kylo Ren tried to do something, bullcrap happens.
Yes. Most of it being, bullcrap involving Rey, being bullcrap.
Yes. He's on the receiving end.
Straight up, the scene before the last scene in the film, right? Kylo Ren just got shot, right? He's fine. He's still BA enough to, Finn is trained for combat. He's a stormtrooper, right? He has some level of, hand-to-hand combat capabilities, even if he's not Kylo Ren's level, right? Kylo Ren was still toying with him, right? Rey, who picked up a lightsaber like not even a week ago, proceeded to beat him to the floor and out-force power him.
Yeah. It also should be known about Finn's training. He did receive stun batron training, so he does know how to use a polearm and stuff like that.
Yes.
So yeah, he does know how to use a long-range weapon, which is what people were arguing against. Actually, he knows more than Rey. Combat, period. Period knows more than Rey. But that gets shadowed because poor old Finn is just a stormtrooper and he's black, so he just gets double the shafts. I'm going to, because no stormtrooper gets abused that much without dying.
Very true.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Finn is on the end of bullcrap that where he's with Rey, so he doesn't end up getting screwed as bad, whereas Kylo Ren is on the receiving end of Rey, so he gets screwed over way worse with way more repercussions. Because, Finn fails, it's okay, Finn, you're just a stormtrooper. Racist bastard. Anyways, and then Kylo Ren fails, and he's like, I will kill you. That's what his master and the Commander-in-Chief says. Because the Commander-in-Chief is some 20-year-old redhead dude who I have no idea has any relevance to this at all, or how he got into power at 20, right? Yeah. Because all the commanders in are usually in their 40s, well into their 40s,
yeah.
because
they're officers who have moved up the ranks by being competent.
And then there's just oh yeah, I'm the same age as Kylo Ren, probably to be a driving force for why he's going to impale me in the next movie.
Same.
So, yeah, that's it. Oh, also, if you count him as a newcomer, he's at the bottom next to Poe. Unfortunately, because he doesn't do anything either except reference Hitler.
True.
Oh dear.
They tried to fit 2 movies into one. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Because it tried to be episode 4, but then tried to be something new, while containing all the stuff that episode 4 contained. And I'm you can't do that. That's too much content. So yeah, that's the TFA, guys. Also, is that British Empire here? I don't know.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Confirmed.
I heard British Senpai-ish laughter earlier when I was talking about how Finn is black and a stormtrooper. So, because British Senpai knows it's funny. Everyone here knows it's funny.
It was. I gotta give you that.
So, yeah. So, hey, ArcanusChat, welcome our 2 latest members who haven't been here in a while. I'm kidding. Our 2 long-standing members, British Senpai and Kira.
Yep.
Yay.
It's my birthday on Wednesday.
Oh, you turn 18, right?
Birthday.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, God, she's in my age range again. I better go hide.
Yeah, my birthday was Wednesday? Wednesday.
Yeah, I congratulated him on being a kami-sama and called him an old man.
Yep. This happened.
Yeah, I don't because, I don't celebrate birthdays myself, so I just congratulate people on not being dead, and then give them my own personalized greeting for them getting older. Alex will get a different one next year. You'll get a different one this year, Kira. Last year I gave you puns, remember?
Yes, I remember.
Yep. This is actually what I do, Alex. So.
Confirmed.
Yeah. I'll have to think of something for Alex next year. And I have to think of something for Kira in a couple days. Oh my god, I've known you for a year, Kira. Holy god.
Oh, damn. Did it.
Wow. Oh.
Really, your anniversary of me knowing both you and Alex was a first day of ArcanusChat thing.
I know, but like really just sunk in. Because around when you turned 17 is when we actually started hanging out. So anyways, back to Star Wars being racist. I mean Star Wars in the recent movies having, and by racist I mean they totally abuse anyone who's not a human.
It's funny because I remember all of those, articles, that people wrote that's like, oh, first black Star Wars protagonist character type thing. And, all the weird regressive types are freaking the crap out because they're like, no, we don't like those people.
Oh my god.
Like, what is wrong with this world?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, it only makes sense that there's black people and Hispanic people in space if white people are everywhere, because you know that all it has to take is just some white person being on a planet for a couple, generations, and bam, they're tan.
There you go. Confirmed.
That's all it takes. It's not hard to get tan, and it's also not hard to get lighter. All you have to be on a nice planet for a couple generations, bam, white. It happens. That's what happens with people.
Yep.
As the world progresses, we get considerably more mixed and tan. That this just happens. Sorry. It all depends on where you live. Hashtag adaptation. Also, considering that people get lighter or darker, within the year, significantly, just shows how easy it is to become light or quote-unquote dark.
Well, it does ethnicity to an extent.
Oh.
Yes.
Because, if you're, Mediterranean, your spectrum, so to speak, is a lot bigger than someone who's from, say, Norway. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Melanin.
As someone who's mixed as crap, I can get... My family ranges quite literally from Caucasian to dark as crap, right?
Same with my
it's real.
Also mixed.
So and they're related to each other. My dad is quite pale, but I'm dark. He's my dad, and then his brother is darker than me. So yeah, hashtag humans are way more similar than people think, and yet far more unique than people think.
Yeah.
Woo! It's just such a shame that the rights and the lefts just both can't see this. Both of them. I don't care. Because liberals are oh yeah, acceptance. But I'm yeah, liberals, you don't see it either. The hard liberals and the hard rights, yeah. Yeah, got it. Anyways, back to Star Wars before we get into an argument where I get shot. Because I am of mixed ethnicity. And I'm white, so they'll assume I'm a white cisgendered male, so that's another reason for liberals to kill me. You see, I love being mixed because I can fit into every cliche. Oh my god, it feels so good. Because I do have a cliches for every one of my things that I do, and I'm God, I wish I wasn't a cliche in certain things. Yeah. Anyways, guys, being mixed is gold. So, anyways, back to Star Wars. Like I said, they abuse the aliens in that franchise. Oh my god. Poor all those Jedi Masters getting slaughtered by the Emperor Palpatine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yoda being the only one of a different race. Period.
Really?
Race. Yes.
Same.
Anakin had a apprentice, but she got shafted to the animated universe and won't even get a live action appearance because they're not going to deal with the prequels or the original trilogy anymore. And I'm well, screw you too. Actually, Rogue One would have been the perfect opportunity to reference her. However, there was only one reference to Star Wars Rebels in Rogue One, and I don't watch Rebels, but however, I did watch Clone Wars, and since Clone Wars has tie-in with Rebels, this is how far I had to reach. There's a tie-in in Rebels to Clone Wars And because I know about that tie-in, I knew about the tie-in from Rebels to Rogue One. In
Okay.
Rogue One, they're in the hangar, and there's a scene where they said General Syndulla. Syndulla is one of the Twi'lecian generals and pilots. In Rebels, she's a pilot. Her father was anti-Confederacy rebellion leader on Ryloth. And the Twi'lecians are the dudes with the who are like blue skin and like the two horns on their heads,
Okay.
like Aayla Secura from Star Wars Battlefront
Okay.
2. Yeah, so that was the one piece of thing that they confirmed for canon, right? I have a encyclopedia of everything that's canon, because all the way up until the Force Awakens, because I got the encyclopedia before Rogue One came out.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm like, man, you didn't even throw me half a bone. You threw a background noise in there for a confirmation of canon because you didn't want to outright say it. I see you, Disney.
Oh,
I see you. Let's see. But yeah, also Mandalorians need some love. Like,
Yeah, I
high
agree.
key. Mandalorians being one of the top mercenary groups from a warrior clan. And Boba Fett and Jango Fett were inspired by Mandalorian culture, right? But they were born on like a colony of Mandalore.
Hmm.
That's where Jango Fett was born, if I recall correctly. But that's extended universe. I don't know if it's canon anymore. But if I recall correctly, he's born on a like colony of Mandalore. Goes to Mandalore, wrecks the real Mandalorians, and the Mandalorians are like, "This is bullcrap." So, yeah, I don't know if Boba Fett's even alive. Because extended universe, he got out, right? But like, they have no confirmation of anything of what happens in between the Force Awakens and the Return of the Jedi.
Okay.
Like, we have like almost no information there, which is unfortunate. That's 30 years of stuff.
Yeah.
So, I think they should probably do something with the Old Republic since they like removed all the canon.
Yeah.
But they really don't like seeing going that far backwards from the original trilogy. So, yeah, considering, oh god dang it, I was gonna say something about how close Rogue One is to Episode 4, but I can't because like Kira's here.
Hmm.
Sorry, Kira. Okay, so yeah, unfortunately, I don't feel like they want to go back any further than like Revenge of the Sith. And I'm like, ouch. We just to play on what we said earlier, don't completely disregard the prequels, please.
Yeah.
But what the fandom really needs is a Star Wars Force Unleashed style game, but with more decisions.
Yeah. An open world. There you go.
Yes. Bam, bam, right there you have a seller. Because the most popular Star Wars games, now I'm going to gloss over from like the 2000s, because there's a lot of games from like the 90s to very early 2000s, but the best selling Star Wars game of all time, I think, is Star Wars Battlefront 2. Right?
Yep.
And then after that would be like the Force Unleashed 1. And then after that would probably be like those Old Republic games.
Yep.
And then after that, no one cares anymore. Sorry. So, and you know what made those games popular? The fact that they were rich in Star Wars culture, and that the Old Republic games were free roam, and that Force Unleashed had choices. Even though it only had like 2 choices in the game, unfortunately. But,
Yeah.
you know, when you have a game that good, just like Star Wars Battlefront 2, and it's on the PS2, you're kind of limited to what you can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
But,
gosh, well, shoot.
are you okay, Verta Senpai?
I fell off the bed. I'm good.
Don't fall.
Yeah, don't
Wait
fall.
for that.
Don't fall for the dark side's temptations and only leads to death. Don't fall for the light side's temptations either. It just ends with you with a Sith Lord impaling you. Actually, just don't be a Force wielder. You die.
That is pretty cool.
Because, like, in Star Wars, if you're a Force wielder, you get screwed every time. Unless you're Rey. But you get screwed every time. Luke has to watch his dad die in front of him. He loses an arm. Palpatine gets thrown into an abyss. Yoda has to die knowing some loser kid is going to have to save the galaxy. Yoda is not impressed with Luke when Luke first arrives, and that's the best thing. Because Yoda's just like, this is the son of the chosen one?
The son of the
God.
chosen one this is. Question.
He's just like his dad. Whoops, looks like Rip the Galaxy. That was like Yoda's first impressions of Luke. Because Luke is kind of very jerky, actually, at the very beginning of him meeting Yoda.
Yes.
And
Yes.
And it's like, yeah, Luke, calm down there. Because I get that Yoda was being annoying, but like Luke was very hostile.
Yes.
He's like, he got like, all right, Yoda would do something for like 2 seconds, and Luke would be ready to like force choke him. And he's like, you know where Master Yoda is? And then he softened up. Only when he said, oh, I know where Master Yoda is, that he softened up.
Yep.
And I'm like, God dang it, Luke. This is why Yoda didn't want to train you.
Yes.
So, you know, Obi-Wan's like, Yoda, please. And Yoda's just like, no, I can't do this. He's literally Anakin. And Obi-Wan's like, no. He won't backstab us, I swear. And Yoda's just like, no, he is exactly Anakin. I'm telling you. Right, you know? Then Yoda has to suck it up. And he's like, well, I guess we're all going to die anyways. It doesn't matter. And then, you know, trains Luke for like 6 months.
I don't even think it was
Luke.
that long. Like,
And then,
while, you know,
it was a long while, but
yeah,
we don't actually have specified times in the
yeah, like, it couldn't have been more than a year,
yeah.
but I would say it would have to have been more than a month.
Yeah, maybe like 2 months.
Maybe, I don't know. Like, long enough that Luke was like, oh, I can't pull my ship out of the pond with the Force. And
Yeah, and it had grown moss on it and everything.
Yep. And Yoda had to just eventually be like, you know, get worn down to the point where he's like, all right, you know, I'm giving you the choice. You stay here and go finish your training, or you stay here and you go finish your training.
And then Luke's like, no, I want to go get my arm chopped off. And he's like, God dang it, I told you it was Anakin. Luke pulls a full-blown Anakin in that scene.
Yes.
Full-blown. He does exactly what Anakin does in movie 2. Fight the Sith Lord. Sith Lord's like, oh, you're pretty good. You shouldn't be this good. Wrecks him.
Yep.
And that's why Yoda was like, I told you he's Anakin, Obi-Wan. And Obi-Wan's like, okay, you got me there. But he's got, like, all his body left still. And he doesn't have a wife. Maybe he won't kill us this time.
Hashtag Luke, hashtag forever alone.
Yeah, Luke, the reason Luke didn't turn, like, full Anakin is because he didn't have a girlfriend. Let's be real. That's probably one of the reasons why he didn't, like, get screwed. He didn't screw over the universe. No girlfriend was in danger. Oh my god, have you seen the memes of how, because, like, after, like, The Force Awakens came out, the spikes and memes of how Leia knew Luke was her brother, Rose? Like, Han's like, how did you know Luke was her brother? And she's like, I don't know, the Force just flowed into me and told me. And there's a comic, and you just see her and Luke in, like, the bedroom, and it's, like, cut off. And you just hear, yes, let it flow into me.
Oh.
Oh dear.
Yeah, the memes are too strong. Oh my god. I mean, they were alone for like almost a year after Han got caught. Long enough so that Luke found the old Jedi Temple and made his own lightsaber. And learned Force Mind Trick. By himself. Yeah.
Well, that was... there was probably a pretty long time skip between 2 and 3.
Yeah, I like to say year. Because, okay, so, if I recall correctly, the original trilogy takes over the place of 5 years, I think.
Okay.
And I think there is a year or 2 years between 1 and 2. I'm pretty sure the spans of The Empire Strikes Back is pretty long because of what happens. And then there's another time skip. But at the same time, in like 2, there's months at a time that stuff happens. Right?
Yeah.
And then in Return of the Jedi, I'm trying to recall, but I think there's weeks at a time that stuff happens.
Yeah.
It's like less so. But I'm pretty sure most of the time is around episode 2, which is ironically the best movie. What was episode 2 at that point? It's episode 5 now.
Yeah,
But
the second Star Wars movie.
Yeah. Which has the most time it covers, and ironically it's the best one. And that there may be a correlation there, but it also may be because Darth Vader's BAAF.
Yes.
That was because the good thing about having multiple movies is you don't have to let the good guys win.
Yes.
For every movie.
Yes. You just have to have the good guys not all die.
Yes. Right? Which is funny because in both the prequels and the original trilogy, the ones where the bad guys win are considered the best ones out of their respective trilogies.
Yes.
So, yeah. But Revenge of the Sith, bad guys win, but at the same time, everyone gets screwed. Everyone. Palpatine gets into a diminished state. Anakin gets turned into the Terminator. Obi-Wan gets his family torn apart, essentially, right? Everyone he considered a brother and sister is dead by who he considered his closest brother's hands, right? Anakin's wife is dead. His children have been orphaned. Yoda has lost what was essentially like all his kids, because that's essentially what they were to him. He has to go on a planet and like, you know... Oh, also, you know how Yoda knows about Dagobah at the end of the 3rd movie?
Yep.
And how he tells Obi-Wan that his training's not over yet? The reason Yoda knows this is explained in Star Wars The Clone Wars.
Okay.
So, he started getting messages from Qui-Gon. Qui-Gon can't manifest as a Force ghost except in that one planet that's the Force from the trilogy, because he didn't master the Force entirely, but he can make his voice heard. So he starts giving Yoda messages, and then Yoda goes to Dagobah, finds out all the stuff, right? You know, he's like, man, this place is really strong in the Force. Then he tells Obi-Wan that his Force training's not done, and that's how Obi-Wan and Yoda know how to become a Force ghost, right? And that's why they can manifest after death. Luke, I'm pretty sure Anakin knows how to, because Anakin's the chosen one.
Yeah. Because Anakin is OP AF.
Yes. So, yeah, well, considering that Anakin would destroy his son if he had his limbs. Yeah. Well, actually, George Lucas confirmed that almost anyone would destroy Luke from the original, but the prequels, because they all know lightsaber combat way better than Luke.
Well,
way better.
Well, it's not like Yoda was teaching Luke hardcore lightsaber training. He's not Mace Windu.
Yeah, he's just like, I'm going to teach you the Force basics. You see, my black friend would teach you, but he's dead, so, you know, there's that. Yeah. So yeah. Actually, I think peak Obi-Wan would probably destroy Luke too. Just absolutely obliterate. Like Luke would fight him, and he's like, "Oh, I have more raw force power," and then Obi-Wan's like, "Guess what? Rip Luke's hands."
Yes.
That's exactly how that fight would go. Because Luke is raw talent, right? Luke is that. That's exactly what he is, right? So that's what Luke is. But Obi-Wan old. Vader is old. He's like in his 40s, right? So he's already out of his peak, and he's a cyborg. So right off the bat, he has a handicapped, right? He's just stronger with the Force than he was because he has more control over it now. Obi-Wan is like almost 60. So in the original trilogy, Vader killed him because he's like, I'm tired. Luke is safe. That's all that matters.
Yep.
Right? So that's why he lets himself die.
Yep. And he can be a Force ghost.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's props too. Actually, I'm pretty sure when you turn into like you know how like Qui-Gon vanished after I think he got killed? You know how like his cloak just fell to nothingness?
When they were going to burn the body just vanished.
Yeah. That thing.
Yep.
That just shows that means that you have a higher understanding of the Force than like a normal Jedi.
Mm.
When your body starts to vanish, that's what it means.
Okay.
That's why that's why Obi-Wan and Yoda just disappeared immediately. But Qui-Gon took longer.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, I was trying to remember if he died and vanished in that scene, or if he died at the vanished at the end of the movie. Yeah, but that's what that means, because your body just turns into midichlorians or the Force. Either way, it's still the Force, and that's what happens. So, unfortunately for Luke, when he starts his new Jedi Temple, it gets wrecked by his conniving little nephew.
Mm-hmm.
And rip Luke's life. Like, if you're a Force wielder, your life just gets screwed. You see, people don't believe that Luke should have gotten depressed, and I'm like, Luke was probably 40, single, and his only family member he saw on a regular basis was his evil nephew. His evil nephew slaughtered everything he worked his entire last, 20 years for. I think he'd be a little depressed. Just a little bit. Also, his sister probably never comes to see him, nor does his best friend Han Solo. So yeah, probably a little depressed. Especially from the way they talked. And the fact that he could vanish without them knowing. Probably means that they didn't come to visit Luke a lot. So, yeah, that kind of, ruins a person's life. Just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then, people are like, oh yeah, well, Luke, yeah. Luke may have been a terrible uncle, but there's no way that Han Solo and Leia should have been horrible parents. Really now? Han Solo is a smuggler who didn't like teenagers. Right off the bat. Right? And then Leia was a politician. Who had no time for nonsense. You know what children are? Nonsense. They require a lot of attention. Something that they didn't have, but Luke did because Luke is single. Rip Luke. So they send him to the Jedi Temple. Unfortunately, we know how that went. So, yeah, it makes sense that Kylo Ren went evil because he wanted to be like Vader, not Anakin. Though he ended up being more like Anakin. But Anakin with his limbs.
Yes.
And it shows in his character, because while Kylo Ren is 29, you can tell his parents and Luke did not give him the attention he needs because he acts like he's 15.
Yes.
That's what happens when your parents just don't pay attention to you. You get moody and you end up 15 for the rest of your life. Well, I mean, there's some counseling that can fix that, but he's a Sith. Well, not a Sith. He's a Knight of Ren. He's not going to get counseling. # dark side life for life. Right? So,
Kylo Ren's fantastic. Like, when I first saw The Force Awakens, my favorite character walking in the movie was Finn. But the more I, thought about it, the more I'm like, Kylo Ren is fantastic. The whole angsty teenage vibe is 10 out of 10.
yes, it's... Okay, he is the culmination of everyone's screw-ups in the whole franchise. Right? That is exactly what Kylo Ren is. He is the fruition of the Skywalker family screwing everything in the galaxy. That's what it comes up to. Right? He's probably not going to be as strong as Vader, but he potentially has the ability to be as strong as his uncle. Right?
Yes.
So, right off the bat, he's got a chip on his shoulder. He's like, God dang it, my grandfather was like one of the best Sith of all time and one of the best Jedi of all time. Right there, chip on his shoulder, right? Right there, automatic. Because Anakin is known as one of the best Jedi and one of the best Sith. Hashtag Balin's chosen one for life. Anyways, so, chip on the shoulder. Not a good thing to have as a kid. Then, mom known as one of the best politicians of all time. Father known as one of the best smugglers of all time. Probably not interested in either of those fields, but more chip on his shoulder.
Yep.
Guess who's the new Jedi Grandmaster? His uncle. Another chip right there. That is a lot of things to be salty about because you probably won't be as good at any of them as any of your family. Right there. Right off the bat. Also, Han Solo probably cared more about Chewbacca than his own kid.
Yes.
Another one right there. Right? That's a lot of issues for like a little kid to be having. Also, they're mid-war with the remnants of the Empire. Bam, another issue.
Yep. Then his parents
Again, no one...
to the equivalent of boarding school to live with his uncle.
Yes. And then the manifestation of I'm not as good as a force fielder as my uncle or my grandpa comes in.
Yep.
That's where it really starts to hit Kylo Ren. And that's when the dark side is like, hey, that's a descendant of the Chosen One. I'm snatching that. Like, it makes sense. I mean, like, there's a lot of reasons why Kylo Ren would be the way he is.
Yes.
Right? So, yeah. Yeah, the only thing is, Han Solo is so much more attractive than his poor old son. Oh, poor Kylo Ren. That's probably another reason why he was salty.
Same.
When my mom saw Kylo Ren, she's like, oh, what's wrong with his face? Okay, so me and my sister and my dad had like a pact to watch no Star Wars trailers for The Force Awakens before it like came on.
Yep.
Right? Alright, so me and my sister are sitting in the movie theater. We're next to each other, and Kylo Ren takes off his helmet. Me and my sister give each other the same stank face look. Oh man, thought he was going to be attractive. we're like expecting like Anakin. We're like expecting Hayden from like who played Anakin, right? We're expecting like like he looks like a Playboy model like guy, right? Like yeah, like he's handsome, right? Like that. We were expecting that. Me and my sister, right? We did not get that, and we were very like, oh, put the helmet back on, please. He looks way cooler with the helmet. Let's be real. Come on.
Yep.
He does with the helmet and hood. Yes. So
there's a reason why he wears a helmet and hood.
Yes. and so my mom is notorious for saying, ew, what's wrong with his face? Because when I was watching The Amazing Spider-Man with the guy who is the new guy who's not the new guy anymore, my mom says like, oh, why did you choose such an ugly guy for Spider-Man? Because like he's weird looking. Like sure he's cool, but like levels of like physical facial attractiveness, he like loses a lot of points. Don't tell that to fangirls though, they'll freak out. But my mom does that because my grandma does that. She's Jamaican, and she'll be like, "Ooh, he ugly, so he look like a lizard." And I can't do a Jamaican accent, okay? I'm like whitewashed as crap. Leave me alone, British Senpai. Anyways, so like so my grandma is super harsh on like ugly people, right? So then like my mom has that a little less in her, but then this has resulted in it being prevalent in me and my sister being somewhat judgmental when it comes to characters, right? You see, this is why when I'm not here, ArcanusChat doesn't happen. Because none of you would be laughing if I'm not here.
Oh god.
True.
Right? Also, my family is fun. I don't care what you guys say. My family is greatness. So, Alex's family is cool
What
too.
Jamaican accent was that?
My family's okay.
I like the secret agent thing with your dad though. That's probably one of the best stories you told me.
Oh, yeah.
That is probably the most fantastic thing you've ever told me about your family, and that like solidifies it for Alex's. That story solidifies Alex's family for me at least.
Fair enough. I'll tell everyone the story after the we're off air.
Yeah, it's something that's just like, oh. So yeah, and yeah, I love my grandma to death, but she hates lizards and she hates ugly men, and she compares them to each other quite often. So yeah, taking my grandma to see movies is never a good thing. She also doesn't like violent movies, so she doesn't like Superman, and that like hurt my feelings when I was a little kid. She's like, I hate Superman. Also, she hates anime, so we already have problems there.
Rip.
So you see, my grandma's like, I don't like cartoons, but what she really means is she doesn't like anime, because she loves like Disney animated films, right?
Yep.
She hates anime. So when I watch anime, she walks in and she's from the islands and she's just like, I hate this stuff. It's garbage. And I'm like hurting in my soul as my grandma's tearing my passion to shreds, right? So I'll just turn off what I'm watching and go into my room. And my grandma just calls me down and asks me, okay, low key, I was watching Chrome Shell Regios, which is an anime, one of my favorite ones. My grandma's like, I hate this stuff, it's trash, right? I turn off the TV, go into my room. I'm kind of upset with my grandma. Grandma calls me back down, and she's like, can you put on this movie for me? And it's American Tail, the movie about the animated mouse heading to the States.
Okay.
She just said I hate cartoons. So, right off the bat, I was already low-key salty. Right? So, my uncle comes in. This is the uncle that plays Star Wars Battlefront 2 with me and knows all those martial arts.
Yep.
And he's just like, what she means is she hates anime. And he's like choking because I'm telling him this story, how she told me she hates cartoons, but then had me put on an animated movie for her. Right? He's like, she just hates anime. So now I just have to hide all Japanese culture away from her whenever she comes over. And comic books and anything relatively violent at all. Except for like, but she likes like documentaries and movies from like the 60s. So, yeah. So, my uncle knows like jujitsu, karate, kendo, fencing, boxing, and some other stuff. And I was explaining this to Alex. He's like, your uncle sounds cool. And I explained that he had a comic book shop too, and that he likes Star Wars. And he's watched some anime, and Alex is like, I repeat, sounds cool.
Yes.
So yeah, my uncle like is really cool, and it's funny because while he knows all these martial arts and practices them regularly, he's like somewhat chubby, so people don't expect this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then when he kicks their butt in like boxing, they're just like, what? And he's like, hey man, I have a gut, but that doesn't mean I can't hit you. Also, he like outclasses like some military officers, and they get mad at him. He has so many stories because military people get so mad so quick, right? And since he's been at a boxing rink lately, Like, he's totally sort of like a military sergeant who gets so pissed so quickly when my uncle beats him. Because military drill sergeants are so hardcore. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh. But yeah, no, my uncle's so cool. And he's so much cooler than most of my other uncles who have, desk jobs. Though I do have a uncle who's a DJ.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So, my family is very diverse and weird. Yeah. There was a good portion of my life, from 10 years old to 15, where they wanted me to stop watching anime, everyone simultaneously in my family.
Mm-hmm.
That was a rough time in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Because they all wanted me to stop. All of them. All of them.
I remember that.
Yeah, so... And then there was a period of, a year of my life where I had no technology, and all I had was email once a week.
Mm-hmm.
Alex recalls that one, because...
Yes.
I'd email him, I couldn't even hang out to him. You know how I was using email? Take a random shot, Kara. I'll take that silence as I can't think of a random shot, or I've left the computer. So, the random shot was the fact that I had to use a PS3 to get on the browser and then send the emails that way.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rip.
That wasn't fun. So, yeah. Periods of my life. But, hey guys, guess what? Chat. With me today has been British Senpai, who has her mic muted. Kira.
You.
And Arakusu.
Same.
So, yeah, I know we've come to an abrupt ending, guys, but I said we would be making AniChat shorter, and we've already passed the hour mark. Next week, if Kira is here, we'll be rereading the anime chart through and through without any stopping. See you guys next